Today, we're going to unpack what might just be the most audacious bet in the history of tech. This is the BGVC deep dive into xAI's plan to build a vertically integrated AGI empire. So let's just start with the number that changes everything. $230 billion. That's the valuation we're talking about for xAI by the end of 2025. Just let that sink in for a second. So you see a number like that, and yeah, the big question is, how on earth is that justified? We're talking about the race to build artificial general intelligence, a true thinking machine, and xAI's whole premise is that they have the only real path to get there. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to break down the logic, the strategy, and honestly, the sheer audacity behind that number. To really get what xAI is doing, you have to look at the battlefield. By late 2025, this whole AI race has pretty much become a three-horse race. You've got the giant OpenAI, a $500 billion behemoth with all of Microsoft behind it. You've got Anthropic, the cautious one, backed by Amazon and Google, all about safety. And then you have xAI, with a completely different playbook, total, ruthless vertical integration. So what's the actual thesis here? What's the logic behind this massive bet? Well, it's not just one thing. It's a strategy built on three core pillars: raw physical speed, total information control, and an industrial ecosystem that feeds itself. Let's dig into that first one.
All right, Pillar 1. This is all about brute force. It's the ability to build the physical foundation for AI faster and bigger than anyone else on the planet, period.
And here's the proof in one number: 122 days. Think about that. That's all it took for xAI to go from a patch of dirt in Memphis to having a fully operational supercomputer, the Colossus, running on 100,000 of the most valuable chips in the world, NVIDIA's H100s. I mean, that's not just fast, it's a speed that completely rewrites the rules.
Now, this slide gets to a concept that is just absolutely central to this whole thing: infrastructure velocity. And look, this isn't just a fancy way of saying building fast. No. This is a weapon. While their rivals are stuck in meetings and supply chain hell that can take years, xAI is already deploying compute and training its next model. That speed creates a massive competitive wall that might just be impossible to climb.
And this right here is the end game of that velocity. It's actually kind of terrifying. xAI is the only AI lab in the world that controls every single piece of its own supply chain. It starts with their own power from Tesla Megapacks, moves to the raw compute of Colossus, then it's fed by the exclusive real-time data from X, it's distributed to X's users, and, here's the final piece, it gets a physical body in the Tesla Optimus robot. It is a perfectly closed loop, an industrial fortress.
Okay, let's move on to pillar number 2. Because, having the world's biggest computer is great, but it's useless if you don't have the right fuel. You have to feed it the best data. And that is where xAI's second and maybe most controversial advantage comes in.
The real game changer? That was the merger with X Corp back in March of 2025. This wasn't just some corporate deal. It was the moment xAI went from being a pure research lab to something completely new, an information sovereign. And this leads us to this really critical idea: data sovereignty. Basically, in a world where every other AI company is getting sued left and right for scraping the web, owning your own exclusive real-time fire hose of human conversation, well, that's the ultimate moat. It's a data source that is legally untouchable and completely impossible for anyone else to replicate. I mean, just look at the difference here. It's night and day. On one side, you have OpenAI and Anthropic training on static, old snapshots of the internet, a legal minefield. On the other side, you've got xAI training on the live, breathing, constantly updated thoughts of 500 million people. It's the difference between reading last year's encyclopedia and having a live feed to the global brain. Yeah, this quote from the analysis just nails it, doesn't it? The world's only real-time public conversation data stream. Think about what that really means. When a major event happens, Grok doesn't need to wait for a news article. It learns about it as it's happening from millions of people. That is a fundamental, almost unfair advantage. So, you've got insane speed, and you've got one-of-a-kind data. The third and final pillar is where the magic really happens. It's where this powerful digital brain connects to the physical world through what the analysis calls the Muskonomy. This is the flywheel. This is the part that competitors just can't touch. The AI from xAI becomes the brain for Tesla's Optimus robot. Then, the real-world video that Optimus and Tesla cars collect becomes the perfect training data for xAI's next models. The massive computer Colossus can help train Tesla's self-driving cars.
And with SpaceX's connections, the door is wide open for government and defense contracts. It just keeps feeding itself faster and faster. But look, building an empire on this scale, at this speed, it's not cheap. And it is definitely not without some massive risks. So, what's the price tag, and what could actually bring this whole thing crashing down? Let's talk about that price. This chart tells a wild story. Your average software company trades at maybe 15 times its sales. OpenAI, the market leader, a whopping 40 times. But then you look all the way to the right at xAI, 76 times its projected revenue. The message here is simple. Investors aren't buying a company, they're buying a lottery ticket for a potential AGI monopoly. And this is the cost of that lottery ticket. $1 billion a month. That's the cash they're burning. It's almost all going to just two things: thousands and thousands of GPUs, and the insane electricity bills to run them. It's an all-in, burn-the-boats kind of gamble. And finally, the perils. This road is absolutely full of landmines. You've got these huge, potentially devastating copyright lawsuits from giants like the New York Times. You've got tough new regulations coming out of Europe that could get in the way. Then there are the growing environmental concerns over just how much power and water this thing uses. And, of course, the big one, the ultimate key person risk, with one man's attention split across 6 world-changing companies. So at the end of the day, it all comes down to this one multi-billion-dollar question. We've seen the strategy, the speed, the data, the risks. Is this insane, vertically integrated empire the actual blueprint for creating artificial general intelligence? Or are we just watching the single most expensive and maybe most catastrophic gamble in the history of technology? The whole world is about to find out.